9:34 right now. El Cenizo, Texas, down near Laredo, has a population of just 3,800 people. So small, they don't even have a jail.
But the small town finds itself in the middle of a statewide debate over sanctuary cities. A law banning such cities was signed into law just yesterday. El Cenizo is the oldest and smallest sanctuary city in Texas.
Our Jessie Degollado went down there to speak with their mayor about life for immigrants, and here's a clip from her story.
Here, reserve police officers and even city employees can't ask about immigration status. And now that Texas lawmakers have passed anti-sanctuary city legislation,
you may get even more backlash.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm used to it.
The El Cenizo mayor often tells his critics,
"You don't live here. This is my town. These are my people. Ustedes han expresado su preocupación."
And he says he's ready to defend them.
There's so much hate.
Reyes gets emotional just thinking about it.
And we know better than this.
Also thinking about his residents.
And the whole notion that now all of a sudden we're going to turn our backs on them just because they don't have a piece of paper.
Jessie Degollado joins us now for today's Reporter Debrief. If you haven't seen the entire story, you can still find it at KSAT.com and watch it. So how'd you find out, first of all, about this?
Well, when you've been around as long as I have, I did the initial story in 1999 when they first adopted what they called a safe haven ordinance, along with, back then highly controversial, even more controversial then, was a predominant language ordinance that mandated that whenever possible that they conduct their city council meetings in Spanish because most of their residents were Spanish speaking. And the mayor at that time wanted them to, again, become more involved in the democratic process. But back then is when they first adopted the safe haven law, and that's when I first became familiar with it. And of course, I automatically wanted to check back with them.
Absolutely.
Yes, and talk about timing. Boy.
Yeah, this sure is. They're at the heart of the issue for sure. And for that mayor, and you could see it in that piece right there, even that little clip, Jessie, this is not just about politics. He is personally invested in this issue.
Very much so. And he talks about, and I will stand firm. I will stand firm, even if I'm the only mayor to stand firm. I'm going to do it regardless. He says, I will do it. And so as in reading Governor Abbott's news release, it said that even elected or appointed officials could be removed if they fail to abide by the law. And the mayor said that, of course, we want to abide by the law, but, you know, he wants to be part of any legal challenge that there is. Granted, they only have a small reserve police force, 5 officers.
And you talked to the police too. What are they saying about it?
Well, and the reality is that really they only interact with residents, obviously, whenever there's a speeding situation. And really, the residents feel more at risk. And this is what I wanted to also point out, is that they feel more at risk, not in El Cenizo, but when they drive out of El Cenizo, because that's where the Webb County Sheriff's Office and DPS certainly patrol quite heavily, because that is a heavily trafficked area. And you may have heard in the complete story, and I want our viewers to listen to the complete story, the U.S. Border Patrol said that this policy has never, since it became law, has not been a problem for them. The reason being, because Border Patrol still, as you see there, they're very involved with the community, and not only that, they have access to the river. They have access to wherever they need to go to, again, stop illegal activity. And they say that the mayor was saying that the residents so appreciate the Border Patrol's, again, wanting to do the right thing, that they even communicate to the Border Patrol they report illegal or suspicious activity.
Jessie, here's a question for you. So say El Cenizo sticks to their guns, the mayor, the police force. What are the repercussions for those city leaders and for those police officers?
Well, as I mentioned, the governor, in his news release, and the law apparently states that the mayor could be removed from office.
Is there a legal path to help all of these residents? I mean, is there something that they're looking at that can be done to make it work?
Well, that's exactly what many many civil rights groups are now looking at, because again, they want to see whether this is going to infringe. Well, first of all, removing an elected official, we're talking about someone being democratically elected.
Yeah.
So that could be a problem. But as far as, again, for the officers themselves, you know, if they fail to abide, then they also could face fines.
Large
The law
fines.
provides for fines. And this is just a very small community. What kind of budget do they have?
Right, none.
You know, so he's really hoping that other border communities who feel as strongly as he does will join him in some sort of litigation, if at all possible. And right now there's no short, in fact, civil rights groups are lining up
to fight this.
This is going to court. We
Oh,
pretty much
definitely.
guarantee this is going to go.
Well, please keep us posted as this
definitely.
goes forward with the appeals and the fight in general.
Well, yes, and in fact, I checked with the mayor last night, and I didn't hear back, so maybe that's a good thing, because I asked him, has there been any feedback or fallout from our story? And so far, I haven't heard from him. But when that predominant language ordinance passed, it was a national controversy. Fox News and other conservative thinking groups really came down hard. Even the Ku Klux Klan threatened to burn down their city hall.
Oh, my goodness.
At the time. So who knows?
And that was back in '99?
Yes.
Is that what you...
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
Jesse, thank you very much, and keep us posted.
Oh,
We know there'll
definitely.
be plenty of follow-ups on that
Oh,
story.
most definitely.
All right,
Thank you.
great piece. Thank you, Jesse. And her story is online once again at KSAT.com right now.